Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Summer is upon us, and yes, for most of us that means grilling season. So why not, for your next cookout, make it just a little bit more memorable with, yes, a Lego Man propane tank. Stick around, I'll show you how we did it. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for this. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Disclaimer, when you're using pressurized goods, be careful. Follow your manufacturer's instructions and you will be in good shape. Another question that may be asked, is it legal to change the color of the gray standard that is on all of the propane tanks coming from the store or the exchange? And the answer is yes. They don't want you painting it a very dark color if it's gonna be stored in direct sunlight. Other than that, if it's in the shade, sky's the limit, everything should be fine. Okay, on with the project. We're gonna make this propane tank look like a Lego man's head. Yet I went to my kids' room for some inspiration and I found quite the variety, but this guy, you turn him over and success. I think we're gonna use this kind of smirky little guy. He looks perfect, so we're gonna go with this. So we're gonna start by making our own stencils by layering blue tape together. I'm doing this on a lunch tray or something plastic, like a cheap cutting board. So if you have one of those and you wanna make your own stencils, I definitely recommend doing it on there. And I'll explain why just in a second. So I've traced out a lid to a spray paint can and thusly just gonna cut it out with a razor. Nothing too fancy here, just take your time. You should get a pretty darn complete circle. As I get it out of camera view, yeah, real smart. I don't know why I did that. Either way, I repeated that process again. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm basically just tracing out what looks to be an eyebrow. Now, the reason, again, like I mentioned to you, to put it on a lunch tray or an old cutting board is when I cut this off and I find his right eyebrow, I then have an actual imprint or a carving inside this material that I then can trace on some tracing paper with a pencil lead, as you see here. And that image comes right through. Now, with that graphite on the underside now, I'm then gonna put it on another piece of blue tape and I'm basically gonna trace that negative image or the reversed image onto another piece of tape, and that graphite from the pencil lead is gonna transfer itself to the tape, giving me what is an exact replica of his left eyebrow. Pretty cool trick if you ask me. Now it's on to making his smirky little face, and essentially the same process goes. I'm just by eye looking at his face and trying to replicate it, and now we're good to go. Now I'm gonna show you exactly kind of the gist of what we're going to be doing here. Not to scale, of course. It's going to look a little bit different on the propane tank. But there you go. That's his face. Pretty simple. Okay, with my little Lego guy there on the bottom left of the screen, he's my reference point. I'm using him to go ahead and put these stencils down. Again, I'm not measuring anything. I'm just kind of doing this by eye, just having fun with it. And that's the idea, is to just have fun with these projects. Everything looks like it's lining up pretty well. Putting on the snarky smile. And yeah, what do you think? Actually, that looks kind of cool too. But on to painting him the traditional yellow color. So I took that little guy with me to the hardware store and found this wild yellow honey color. And it turned out that they matched perfectly. So the process is, again, paint it upside down, get the bottom done, flip it over, paint it just like you see here. Again, I do have protection on the inspout where the gas is gonna come out of the propane tank. There is a protective coating there. That way the paint doesn't get in there. But other than that, you're good to go. Now we're gonna bring it to the workbench, let it dry, take the stencils off, and reveal what's underneath. So I do recommend being very careful in this process. You don't want to take some of that black spray paint off, but inevitably it happened. A little bit of that blue tape pulled some of it off of the can, but that's okay. A little touch-up paint on a paper towel and we're good to go. Okay, now we're almost there. It looks a little different without eyes, and yes, we're gonna use a foam brush I found at the craft store that happens to be a 1-inch in diameter circle. I dab it in some white acrylic paint and just again do this by eye. Sorry, I had to. And now it's time to put on a clear coat. So we're going with a clear enamel high gloss finish, again, to replicate what looks to be like a piece of plastic. But before we install it, let me give you a maker board update. Okay guys, here we go, maker board update. These are two gentlemen that I am very privileged to call my friends. And the first one I'm gonna introduce you to is Casey at CReeves Makes. You gotta check him out on YouTube. He has an unbelievable shop aesthetic and unbelievable projects too. He's a very talented woodworker, but I'm gonna tell you, this black melamine he's got going on in his shop, go check out some of his videos and tell me it's not a beautiful setup. And the other one, yes, my buddy Justin at Footsteps Woodworks on Instagram. This is a stand-up gentleman if I've ever met one in my life. Justin, I'm very proud to call you my friend, buddy. And also, he's done a, well, what do you call it? A secret compartment American flag build that was one of the more incredible projects that I've seen on Instagram lately. I'm going to link his channel and Casey's channel down below. Guys, check them out and let's get back to the project. And check this guy out. He turned out fantastic, was so simple to do, easy project, yet this is gonna add just that little bit of pizzazz to these cookouts over the summer. And also, red and black, I've painted 2 other tanks. I'm thinking maybe a Spider-Man, maybe a Venom in the future, who knows. Follow me on Instagram because I'm not gonna make another video of this, but I may update the Instagram page with those motifs later on. And my helper is always involved, but this job I think I'm gonna do on my own. So all you do is install this thing, and yes, look at the aesthetic of this. Have you ever seen something so crazy, something so cool? Attach the gas per your manufacturer's instructions, and we are now cooking with gas. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely love how this turned out. This is such a cool thing, great conversation piece, and I wanna encourage you guys to do the same or something like it in the future. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for this project. This was fun to do. Not a huge DIY thing. We didn't build anything necessarily, but more of an art project that will, I guarantee you, will be a conversation piece at your next cookout for the duration of this summer. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. I'm always gonna invite you to subscribe to the channel, and I've got a few more videos playing over there as well. Guys, thanks again, and we'll see you on that next one. He's walking. Well, he started last week, but I'm so happy he's walking. Guys, we'll see you next week. Bye. Let's go.